Hello, faithful. I'm your host, Keven Crothers, host of White Throne Metal Radio, the Throne Room podcast, staff writer for Heaven's Metal magazine, former staff writer for White Throne magazine, and White Throne Metal Reviews blog. Hey, I'm glad you decided to tune in and check us out today as we continue on in our series of Top 10s. This is Top 10 Songs. Today, I want to talk about Barren Cross. Barren Cross, many of you know, released 4 albums, studio albums, back in the late 80s and early 90s. Christian heavy metal. Most people would say initially they had a sound a little more like Iron Maiden undoubtedly because of the vocal prowess of Mr. Mike Lee on lead vocals. Rounding out Jim Laverty on bass, Ray Paris on guitar, and Steve Whitaker on drums. Had to pull that one out, I almost forgot. But they released, like I said, 4 studio albums. Their debut, which is Rock for the King, came out on Star Song 1986. Atomic Arena, the follow-up on Enigma, 2 years later. Also, State of Control, also on Enigma. That was released in 89. And then in 1994, they also released Rattle Your Cage on Rugged Records. Now, they also released a 6-song EP, which all of you are probably jumping up and down going, you didn't mention the EP. Well, here you go. The 6-song EP was entitled Believe. It was released on vinyl, white and blue vinyl, as well as cassette. I used to have a cassette that I bought from the band way back in the day. It's long gone. I call it the Great Purge of 2000, and the less said about that, the better, I think. But the 6 songs that were on that EP all were brought to the album for Star Song, and they added 3 more tracks to it. So there you go. They also released a live album called Hotter Than Hell, a second live album called Birth Pangs that came out, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, within the last 5 years or so. They also did a remaster that was done by Ronnie Montrose for their debut, Rock for the King, which also had 5 additional live tracks. Having said all that, top 10 songs for Barren Cross. So let's get right to it. So coming in at number 10, I'm going to call a mulligan. Okay, I poured over the discography and the songs, and I couldn't keep out one or the other. So at number 10, I have The Stage of Intensity from State of Control, as well as The Unsuspecting from Rattle Your Cage. Now, The Stage of Intensity, a heavier song, fast, almost thrash metal. Now you'd say it's probably more speed metal-like. Definitely a heavier track, nice acoustic intro. But The Unsuspecting off of Rattle Your Cage, oh man, they got all of that Mesa Boogie guitar tone that was missing off of the State of Control album and Atomic Arena album. They got it full bore there on Rattle Your Cage. And it's a great song. The Unsuspecting and The Stage of Intensity at number 10. Coming in at number 9, also off of Rattle Your Cage, Here I Am. A brilliant prayer, a brilliant worship song with crunchy, heavy sounding guitar, great guitar solo from Ray Paris, killer vocals from Mike Lee on that, great lyrics written by drummer Steve Whitaker. Here I Am, coming in at number 9. Number 8, off the debut, It's All Come True. A kind of a proggy song that has some great bass lines in there from Jim Laverty. Very Steve Harris-like, we'll say. A great song all the way around. It's All Come True, coming in at number 8. Number 7, off of Atomic Arena, also a worship song, King of Kings. I can tell you there have been many times that I have put that song on and it just lifts my spirits. Just a reminder about who's in control. all set to a brilliant, heavy, crunchy sounding guitar, a brilliant melody, a wonderful hook. King of Kings at number 7. Number 6, off of Rattle Your Cage, Midnight Sun, a deep track. And I think for a lot of people, it's just not a song that they like. I've mentioned this song to different people through the years, and it kind of just washes over them. It's pounding, it's driving, it's got a great riff. It's one of those songs that just, it's straightforward with a killer lyric and a great hook as well. Midnight Sun coming in at number 6. Coming in at number 5. Number 5 is Deadlock off of actually, it's on Atomic Arena, but the version that I prefer comes on the Cal Metal 1 compilation. The band had, they released the Believe EP, they did the Rock for the King album for Star Song, and they hadn't recorded anything. It'd been over a year. Was it in September, October, November? Cal Metal 1 was released, and it had the opening track was Deadlock from Barren Cross. I think it's a heavier sounding version than the one that's on Atomic Arena. Had I think a little more energy to it. It definitely has a different sound. I'm not sure if they just remixed it to fit the rest of Atomic Arena, or if it was just done for the one-off for that particular compilation. But it's a great song. It's about drug addiction and the need to get out of that. Barren Cross had initially the first album, Rock for the King, by their own admission, was very preachy in its lyrics. When they went to Atomic Arena, the lyrics were more, we'll say, socially driven, not as preachy per se, even though there's some definite songs on there that they get right to the point. But Deadlock comes in at number 5. Number 4, off of Atomic Arena as well, Living Dead, the album closer. Such a heavy song. And it's an epic in the sense it clocks in at over 6 minutes. It's got various sections and time changes to it. That was the thing with Barren Cross. You could get something that was very straightforward, like, say, Midnight Sun or Deadlock, and then you'd get something that had this almost not really proggy, but kind of a proggy element to it. And Living Dead just, it was such a heavy song, and lyrically as well as musically. Starts off driving. It has that middle break. It has a great guitar solo. Just a stellar song all the way around. Coming in there at number 4, Living Dead. Coming in at number 3, also off of Atomic Arena, In the Eye of the Fire. In the Eye of the Fire is definitely, it's got a great start-off bass line, again from Jim Laverde. It's a song about suicide, and there's not really a guitar solo per se in this song, but there's a middle breakdown. Now, someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but way back before this album was released, I remember I saw Barren Cross at the first His Festival in Riverside, California, and they had a song called In the Eye of the Fish. That's what it was called. And it was 12 minutes long. Now, we've often speculated that they broke that song into 2 parts. One of those parts is In the Eye of the Fire. The second part is my number 2 song on my list, which is 2,000 Years. Absolutely one of the best songs Barren Cross ever wrote. Proggy, heavy, The lyric is stellar. Mike Lee's vocal performance is unbelievable. Now I know, I'm sure they had to punch in that final scream, but to hold that note for so long, I'm telling you, if you haven't heard that song in a long time, you go back and you listen to 2,000 Years. What a great song. Great guitar solo. Time changes galore. Barren Cross showing their proggy goodness, as it were, at its best. Coming in at my number one, the opening track from Rock for the King, Dying Day. Dying Day is, I thought long and hard about what my number one would be, and I remember when I bought the album, when I saw it when it came out, and they're in the blue and white uniforms at the time, and but I put it on and I heard Dying Day and I thought, oh my gosh, this is absolutely so much energy, great guitar solo, stellar vocal, the drums sound fantastic, Jim's bass lines are brilliant again, and with that, I also understand that on this song, when it was originally written, the chorus part was the verse, and the verse part of the song was the chorus. I think they got it right by changing it. I often wondered why this wasn't the flat-out concert opener. When I saw them at the Metal Mardi Gras, they opened with It's All Come True and then went into Dying Day. To me, Dying Day just speaks of album opener, energy, drive. It just cranks. And great vocal performance from Mike Lee. That's my number one. A couple of honorable mentions, shall we say, from the debut album, Just a Touch. Driving speed metal at its best. Great sounding song. How about also the title track from Rock for the King? Rock for the King. Both great songs. From Atomic Arena, Imaginary Music, they shot a video for that. Good video, really solid song, sticks in your head. Killers of the Unborn, another song off that album, great song there as well. Off of State of Control, Out of Time. Out of Time's got a great hook. Starts off with that clip from one of the, I don't know if it was Thief in the Night or A Distant Thunder, this old Bible prophecy movies about the rapture from the 70s. They took that clip, and that's where Out of Time starts off. Inner War also on State of Control. Just some really solid stuff. Bigotry Man from State of Control, kind of proggy as well, had some good time changes. And off of Rattle Your Cage, the song's Sick. Oh, such a good song. Very un-Barren Cross-like, frankly. More Barren Cross for the 90s, we'll say. So let me recap my top 10. Number 1, Dying Day. Number 2, 2,000 Years. Number 3, In the Eye of the Fire. Number 4, Living Dead. Number 5, Deadlock. Coming in at number 6, Midnight Sun. Number 7, King of Kings. Number 8, It's All Come True. Number 9, Here I Am. And I pulled a mulligan on number 10, The Stage of Intensity and The Unsuspecting. There you have it, White Throne Metal Radio's top 10 Barren Cross songs and a few honorable mentions. Don't forget to tune us in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. White Throne Metal Radio on the Live 365. Thank you much. Tune in soon. Again, we're going to have top 10 songs from Sacred Warrior. I'm working on a Resurrection band. I'm also working on Theocracy. Some other things I've got in the pipeline. Maybe we'll even get Demon Hunter, Deliverance. Don't worry. Stick around. We'll be back. Again, White Throne Metal Radio, sponsored by Heaven's Metal Magazine. You can check us out in the links below. Have a great day and stay cool.